with has a bit more sustainability with the breath of the ocean, with the oddities, or the oddity and the blessing of the ocean. So I think taking it away will limit the aggression coming in from Onic, but it's going to be a first pick Claude for RRQ.
Remember in the first leg of the Royal Derby, Onic completely shut down the Claude pick, always banning it or first picking it for themselves. This time they opt to go for a Fredrin. So maybe here there's already a little bit of a change that maybe it looks like Onic are more comfortable up against the Claude and they understand how Skylar plays now.
Ooh, especially in the jungle though, it just seems like they really want to shut down Albert and ensure that in the neutral objective take, they have all the advantage they need to try and get a lead. Because honestly, if RRQ does not get a significant lead, usually they fall off.
All right, we'll see what happens here. Remember, the Claude is one of the comfort heroes of Skylar. He has performed best on this hero, where he was able to split push as well. We'll see what creativity he's able to utilize with this hero, as where Onic Esports now, with the Farsa and the Arlet being picked up. Is Arlet a flex, or do you think it's going to go into the hands of Boots?
Looking at it, honestly, it does perform a bit better in the XP lane compared to the jungle, where it kind of struggles in the early clear department. So looking at it here, looking at how Boots has been able to utilize mechanical heroes like the Benedetta and the Paquito in the past, I would expect the Arlet to go to the XP lane. And also, the reason Onic didn't go for the Varus pick is because they want RQ to clump up. They want that final slash to be massive to change these team fights for the better.
Ooh, picks coming in from RRQ though. They go for the group for some aggression, some strong leaning. It can still be flexed around, and they have the long-range artillery matching it against the Farsa, but they have let go that Hayabusa, man.
All right, so secure a good hero for Kyrie?
Check.
Secure a good hero for Boots? Maybe check. We're not really sure how this is going to pan out. But coming to the second phase here, Onic, they do have the options to start banning away the counters towards the Hayabusa, which is the Hilda as well as the Masha, which is why we see that reflected on the statistics as well. The most banned heroes by Onic, they're usually the heroes that are going to be able to pressure Kyrie in his own jungle.
I think in this position, though, they don't really need to go for the Masha ban. They can if they want to respect Vin. Vin can definitely utilize the Masha in the roaming position. We've seen it before, but looking at the glue pick, maybe Onic might just go for something different, targeting Albert maybe in the jungle with possibly an Akai ban, something that can really disrupt what Onic is trying to build for themselves. Maybe even a Diggy ban here. We have seen Vin play on the Diggy. You are not a fan of the reactive picks on RRQ, especially for Vin, Arashi, but knowing that they have an Arlet, it really still makes sense though.
It does make sense, so we'll see if Vin wants to go for that. Maybe they've practiced it off screen, obviously, but looking at it, I'm wondering for Albert, right? We have been seeing a lot of hybrid picks, a lot of base damage paired with tanky items like the Lancelot, like the Paquito. Onic will respect the Lancelot, but the Paquito is available, and Albert has shown that on the Paquito, he can knock people out, definitely.
We do have a comment here by Emperor or Jonathan Liandi. Keyboy is the top mechanical hero player, so he has the best mechanics in that roaming position. He thinks Keyboy is absolutely insane. And when he says that, I think a lot of us can agree. Keyboy has been playing spectacularly. There's so many moments when he gets pickoffs inside bushes that he should not know where they are. He has insane map awareness, insane instincts and feeling. But coming back into the bans here, RRQ with the last ban, they are going to be taking away the Melissa off the board, taking it away from CW. I think you mentioned this, right? CW really good at playing that weak side. And honestly, weak side, Melissa fits perfectly.
They go for Beatrix though, right here, another good weak side player. Why? Because of its flexibility. You can utilize, especially for CW, he utilizes every single weapon in Beatrix's arsenal. It isn't just the Renner and the Bureau, as we've seen from most of the gold laners. Literally even the Wesker he brings out in different situations.
And being able to adapt to different situations is exactly what you're going to have against RRQ, because you never really know what they're going to go for. But now with the last final two picks, they're going to be forced to expose a bit of what's in their heads right now. And I do wonder, how will this play out? Because so far, it seems like a dive comp with the Yeeve in Tau. We've seen that happen before. Helps with the chase potential. But now, it's going to be a Kufra. So, solid for Vin, and it's going to be that Paquito. So, we'll see who goes into the roam position. But seems like the jungle Paquito is inevitable.
Big Kufra in the roam. Paquito, this is the big question for me. Is it going to be the jungle tank Paquito, the tank Paquito that we saw earlier today in the first match?
Think so.
With Taz going for that tank Paquito, Demon Slayer emblem, or will we see one of the natural, high and dry, possibly killing spree Paquitos that goes semi-tank?
Yeah, I think the tank Paquito has a lot of potential. Part of the reason why EVOs were unable to use it to its maximum potential was more due to how they're playing around and the formation. But as a hero, remember, it did the highest damage in the game for the side of EVOs earlier. But now with a Kaja, though, it's going to shut down a lot of momentum, a lot of movements, and this means that there's going to be a showdown between Vin and Keyboy, right? Who can engage on who first?
Oh, this is going to be really fun to watch, right? Because completely forgot that the Kaja was left open in the hands of Keyboy. Remember, the Eve is going to be able to be cancelled by that ultimate coming in from Kaja. But as you can see here, despite everything, the audience prediction still favors RRQ. The Kingdom still staying loyal here, despite the performance that RRQ has in the season.
Look to your left. The Kingdom, the RRQ fan, he's still staying loyal as well. I don't doubt that he's going to go for RRQ. I'm talking about Arashi, ladies and gentlemen. But it comes down to this, Arashi. It's the Royal Derby Part 2. Will RRQ claim their redemption with Bangduk? Or will Onic seal the deal 2 times in 2 legs? Well, jumping into the land of dawn to say the outcome. Albert is on the killing spree. They're going for damage. Vin is already going to get chunked down by Keyboy and Sons.
Wow, he's going for a damage build. Very risky, honestly, in this current situation. But I guess because Kyrie's on the Hayabusa, it makes a little bit more sense.
This also means that most likely they're going to be going for a lot more aggression, and they won't be prioritizing the neutral objective so much. At least they shouldn't, right? With this build, with this composition, with the Paquito being squishier than a full tank Paquito, it means that he will be going for the heroes instead. It's a playstyle I prefer, and a playstyle that a lot of people have said to be more effective, to get a more guaranteed retribution. But right now against Kyrie on the Hayabusa, easier said than done.
For sure, for sure. And, you know, we got to talk about the lanes, right? Because honestly, Sans using the Farsa, he should be able to clear a lot faster, especially helped in by Keyboy on the Kaja. Meanwhile, on the bottom side, CW should have the upper hand, especially before level 4. But that's when they have to be careful.
Oh, good pick off already early on. CW forced to flicker out, and RRQ have established some dominance here in the bottom side. Talent prediction, though. Wow. RRQ holding 4.
4 versus 2 here, actually.
The real ones stay loyal, man. But right now, Albert just doing a lot of damage. Keyboy forced to back away. And if you look at the movement early on, Skylar was pump faking CW for him to move forward to time it for Vin. So everyone seems to be working together right here. The communication seems solid. We'll have to see, though. The early game can always look solid against Onic. The mid to late game, though, is where Onic's tactical genius does shine.
Complete different winning conditions, though. You can already see Onic have set up a proper, they've established some dominance in the XP lane, whereas RRQ have maneuvered over to the gold lane.
Ooh, the mid lane, though. Keyboy and Vin, like we mentioned, a bit of a showdown, but until the turtle spawns, those big skirmishes don't really amount to much just yet. But later on, I do wonder, right? With the Divine Judgment against the Tyrant's Revenge here, we'll have to see if situation actually goes in favor of RRQ, because Onic, they really seem to be catered more towards those pickoffs.
Yeah, supposedly in that event, it should be Kufra having the better time, depending on how that goes. But as you can see here, an uncontested turtle will fall for Onic here in the early stages of the game. 3 minutes in, Onic still having a really good time. I think they're still trying to play around the top side. But at this point, nothing too fancy just yet.
Well, the fact that Onic is unable to get a significant lead early on, usually, especially with a Kaja Farsa combo, and we just saw it in the previous match, it's actually very deadly in the early game, but RRQ has been able to maneuver around it, and Albert just fearless jumping towards Keyboy, knowing that there's a threat of the Divine Judgment, he does not care.
And I think that's exactly why, right? Because of that power spike from Albert. But wait a minute, Kyrie?
Tyrant's Rage and the Revenge, locking Kyrie down, but the Shadow Kill does come through with an immune question, but look at the back line, it's the first blood picked up by Kyrie. Albert, though, finding a proper trade. Mid lane traded in for the jungler. RRQ, did they get the better trade?
Considering they're stopping Kyrie from snowballing, maybe, but Albert strikes back, knocks Keyboy out. This is the burst potential coming from Keto, and RRQ are taking full advantage of it. They are struggling to match their roam potential from the Farsa, though. That is something that Onic has not been able to abuse just yet.
But luckily enough, that moment when Kyrie got picked off, there weren't any neutral objectives on the board, right? So Onic, they didn't lose too bad, and the fact is, RRQ, Clay, he needs some time to be able to get to the point where he's able to have as much impact in the game as possible, right? He wants to be able to make the Ice Queen 1 for sure to get that additional slow every time they go for a team fight. That is going to be useful. But what I find still interesting up until this point, why do people still choose the Yve into the Farsa pick? Because I've seen a lot of moments where the real-world manipulation, it gets cancelled by the damage, the burst damage coming in from that Feather Airstrike when those items are built already.
I think it comes down to that there's no other real option for long-range magical artillery. If there were other options to play around with, teams would experiment with it for sure. There's the Savior, technically, but he hasn't really been that good. And the utility from the Yve is so underrated. If at any point Onic falls behind, it's going to be very easy for Albert to dash around and catch up to members when they're being slowed by this Yve pick. So I think it has value for sure, but not in the roaming the way the Farsa does. More where even without the ultimate, you can spam out your spells and do a healthy amount of damage. And speaking of damage, Albert has plenty right now.
The baby alien is mad, wants to get some revenge after leg 1, getting 2-0'd, swept by Onic. As Kyrie takes a whole lot of that damage now, is going to be waiting in the bushes. Clay walks in, but that's going to be Albert waiting for Kyrie in the bush. He reads it out perfectly, uses the quad Jetto to escape as Onic try to rotate around the purple buff. Keyboy forced the flicker away. The purple buff spawns in, but RQ, they set their sights on the gold lane. Once again, establishing their dominance here for Skylar.
And look how proactive they are right now. They go for a fight. When Onic pull back, they make sure they punish Onic for basically not participating. They go for the turret, so that's already a great move from the side of RRQ. Now they have to extend it, right? With this vision lead, with this turret control, map control lead, they have to try and push it more. Because obviously, Albert wants to snowball on this Paquito. The idea isn't to scale and build items for the late game.
Yeah, right now they're still sitting at the same level, though, both level 9. But it's a completely different story here in the gold lane. Skylar has actually been able to get a level lead. CW just got that level 8, but right now, RQ, they're looking to finally take that power spike 4. Oh, wait a minute here.
Divine Judgment right now, followed up with a runner shot as the final slash finds its mark. CW still able to escape, and Skylar jumps in with a blazing new right now. With Keyboy taken down, he sets his sights on the other members in front. But it is just going to be a 1-for-1, both roamers taken down.
So 1-for-1 this time, but you can see that RRQ, when they get the play they want, the AoE burst damage they have, it's a lot more threatening, especially in the teamfight situation. But Skylar gets caught, it's a 1v1, he gets an assassin.
The shadow kill takes him down. It's a 1v1 that ends up the way we all expect it to. An assassin versus a marksman has been charges in that revenge, looking for a good pick-off there. Holds on to the flicker. He actually pops in to conceal to get Lemon into that goal lane a bit faster. Albert now, though, jumping in, able to find the retribution despite Boots, who's there to try to distract.
So far now, RQ, they're going to be able to lead in terms of the neutral objective takes, 2 versus 1 so far, and it makes sense, right? Albert versus Kyrie, 1v1. It's a little difficult for Kyrie to have an impact, but Keyboy!
That's the burst down, the final slash as well to stop any sort of initiation as Albert gets gunned down. Boots picks up the kill with a vengeance. Last prop, Lemon looking for the back line. Jumps into the slime side pass, but Kyrie looking for that G with the quad shadow. Jumps into the enemy purple buff instead, and Onic picks up a dove. It's a 2-for-0.
It all began with Clay getting picked off, and RRQ, they love doing this so much, man. They keep going in, even though statistically they don't have the advantage, and Onic just completely punishes that. They were able to get the kill, not only towards Clay, but towards Albert as well. So it just stops his snowballing and shifts the goal advantage back to Onic. they're still at a tower disadvantage, but that could very easily change over the course of the next few fights.
But remember, that's what you mentioned, right? You said that RRQ like to go in for these crazy, chaotic engages when, honestly, it shouldn't work. Sometimes it does, sometimes it doesn't. But these are the moments when RRQ, they're getting limited by their own aggression. That gold lead instantly shifted back onto Onic as we take a look at the in-game equipment. And you can see here, Skylar already with the golden staff. Maybe that's what they're looking for.
They have the golden staff, but he only has the steel leg plates, and Clay also has no real defense items for Kyrie and the dive potential, except for the boots, right? So I feel like after a while, in the mid game in particular, Kyrie on this Hayabusa will be out of control unless they can prepare some kind of trap, some kind of crowd control to ensure that he gets bursted down. Otherwise, RRQ needs to play it safe, switch it up, slow down the game, and then wait until they have the right items to counter, like the Winter Truncheon, like maybe a Bricker's Breastplate in the hands of Clay, whatever they deem necessary to try and curb this aggression.
Yeah, definitely Winter Truncheon is going to be so valuable against Kyrie, but we saw an item there being built by CW already with a Malefic Roar. I think Onic, knowing this, they do want to look for an engage.
They're looking for it. Oh, Boots with a final slash, and Kyrie to back him up right now as he jumps in once again with the quad shadow. Lemon locking him down, and Kyrie will fall to the hands of Clay. Lemon on the back line, still against the world. The jungler traded in for the gold laner. Onic still with one of their main damage output heroes will try to push the pace. Lemon targeted down, the final slash bringing Lemon back, but he does have the slam and the pass to get himself out.
So far, Onic has been able to get the better pickoffs due to their composition, but RRQ, they're doing a great job of trading in any kind of lead on the EXP laner. RRQ will pick up the EXP laner for Onic as well, and you can see earlier, gold being traded for the jungle. On paper, it's not exactly the best of circumstances, but considering that it's Kyrie's Hayabusa who's trying to snowball in this mid game, I feel like RRQ can take that as a dub, and now they're going to go for the Lord. Are they going to go for an engage first though? Because Onic, they are not going to let this go without a fight.
No purple buff on Kyrie, no quad shadow. That's getting Divine Judgment onto Lemon, who gets taken down. Boots now in the midst of it all. Jumps in with a vengeance. Doesn't have the final slash just yet, but the concealed play does get popped. A beautiful Lord take by RRQ to equalize the gold lead, but somehow Onic are still holding on to that gold lead.
They are indeed, and it's incredibly scary when RRQ tunnel vision onto Kyrie. Remember, CW right now 203 still untouched.
Keyboy gonna be pinned down here by the bouncing ball as well. He's looking for a re-engage, perhaps with the snipe connecting bit is forced to flicker out. And just like that, the Lord will be cleared out in the top side. It will dish out some damage to the tier 2. They might even be able to take it down here, but it will fall to the hands of Onic. They actually managed to salvage that turret.
Looking at the items here, 2 Blade of Despairs for a set of Onic. This means that for RRQ, sticking around with low HP is a risk they don't really want to take. And considering the Lightning Truncheon completed for Sans, it's going to be a dangerous situation, especially with the Holy Crystal right now. A very aggressive build, but it's smart knowing that there's a lot more aggression coming in from RRQ. Because remember, Albert is not going defensive here. He's going full quote-unquote assassin. And so far, with that Lord, unfortunately, they were unable to get too many things. They were able to get the second turret, though, but look at that play!
Ben with a play! The crowd erupts as Keyboy and Kyrie have been caught. That's the split. Boots now jumping in onto the Vengeance. Skylar right there, but there's more Vengeance where it comes from now. Boots caught in the midst of it all, gonna be knocked up right there, but it's still gonna be Boots outplaying the situation, getting the kill back onto Lemon. CW with the snipes, onto Ben, connecting, but not gonna be able to find the kill just yet as that getting flicked from CW. Albert falls. It's a 2 for 3. Onic somehow, someway are able to make it a 2 for 3, but RRQ with a beautiful proactiveness.
Wow, what a beautiful pick by Vin. The Tyrus Rage Revenge connected with the flicker as well on to Kyrie, and another member from Onic that really set the tempo. Unfortunately though, CW in the back line, he was under the turret and he was untouched, and he was able to dish out the damage from the Nibiru's Passion onto the members of RRQ, eventually eliminating them.
I feel like there was no reason for them to continue that fight right there. They got the pickups they want. They were chasing into, as you mentioned, CW under the turret with the Nibiru's Passion. They're chasing into Sans on a Farsa with a lot of damage as well. So I feel like if they just played it slower, went for the objectives, they could have came out, you know, more ahead in that fight. But this is RRQ's signature style. They get a lead, they want to go all the way and finish what they started. So it can work really well, but at the same time, this is something that Onic can very well make use of, as now Lemon is going toe-to-toe against Boots right here. This might be a mistake.
Oh, but didn't from Bogor. Clay actually broke a record here in MPL ID Season 11 with the most assists with a number of 2,000.
Wow.
And that's just him, right? I think we've seen that since how many seasons ago? He's always that reliable person in the back line.
Whoa.
But wait a minute. Ooh, Boots getting very aggressive. Keyboy with a concealed play.
They're looking for it. Vin is waiting in the bush right now. Pops in the bouncing ball. Now with a Tarn's Revenge, looking for a setup. DW gets blocked, but now it's gonna be the zone. Real world manipulation. 11 with a flicker to shut him down. In the mid lane, Kyrie looking for a trade as Keyboy goes in for the Divine Judgment, catching Skylar. Now it's still Boots in the midst of it all. Kyrie gonna be able to pick up the tier 2, traded it in for the kill. Boots mounting, or Lemon mounting Boots, but the final slash will be able to connect. Now Lemon is gonna be there for Boots to dish out some damage, but RRQ have claimed control over the Lord and will be able to secure it for the team. Boots still now against Lemon, getting those set up, getting those resets. But RRQ have been playing phenomenally.
We talked about the fact that Keyboy has insane map awareness and that he has the highest mechanics in terms of that pickoff and macro as well. But honestly, Vin in this current game, he's really popping off. Come on, 2 times in a row, the first time being able to pick off the Hayabusa Kyrie in that bush. How did he know? And here, it happens again, but onto CW. And honestly, at this point, it's a lot more dangerous.
Whoa! Vin with a massive play once again, but CW this time is able to escape for a bit. Keyboy dealing some damage as Vin gets taken low. Albert looking for an assassination. Boots using the resets on the bench of the Skylar, picks that turret down. Albert looking for the dive, but will be caught in the feather airstrike and the final splash. Albert has been taken very low. Meanwhile, Kyrie in the midst was able to find a pickoff onto Vin. Lemon to be chased down. The quad channel now by Kyrie as they look to hunt for more RRQ members. But Lemon will fall to the hands of Sans. Onic once again have won on the back of a Lord from the enemy team.
It's a great engage attempt, but unfortunately Onic were able to turn it around, and you see the weakness coming in from RRQ. They have a lot of damage, but they don't have a lot of sustainability. Once they miss out their pickup attempt onto the squishier members of Onic, they just fall short, and Onic can very easily start chasing, start dealing damage from so far away, and attempt to get and equalize that kind of lead. Now they still have the goal advantage, and they've been able to take care of the Lord as well. This game is going deeper into that late game, and in theory, this means Skylar can do a lot more damage and can just wipe out the whole backline. But considering how Onic has been playing and how Keyboy have been so adaptive with how aggressive or defensive he's been on the Divine Judgment, he's finding a lot of trouble going for a free dive in the back line.
And in addition, I just don't understand CW. Look at his gold. He's actually ahead of Skylar when in the early game, he was the one falling behind. I think we keep mentioning this, best weak side gold laner ever. And both of them, they're going full damage here. And not one Athena shield. I guess the only defense item they have is WN. That's definitely a core item for someone like Skylar. But CW as well, not even an Athena shield, despite going against Clay. And remember, previously, that one time he got picked off here, 3-1-5, that one was by Clay.
Look at where Suns was positioning the whole time there, just sitting in the bottom lane, setting up traps. That is what you need to do against a team that just has good mastery over the map. Vin looking for a play right here, does not find Keyboy, and that will be a turret falling down. Just trading back and forth here, both these teams matching up to each other. But I wonder how this goes through to the late game, because later on, with the Lord in town, the team fight potential seems so much stronger from RRQ, but Onic might not even let it go that far.
Well, in terms of burst, RRQ definitely has that, right? Especially they have Skylar with the Blazing Duet. Onic, they're going to be able to do better in the sustained fights, but
Skylar with a Blazing Duet, escaping and maneuvering out. Meanwhile, Booty jumps into the back line, but Skylar has it with nature. Keyboy has fallen. Kyrie is not going to be able to find the assassination as Vin pops into conceal. Play with a flicker, now slowing Kyrie down, and that is another kill. Onto the hands of Clay. 3 for 0. RRQ have outplayed the concealed play by Onic.
Wow, what a maneuver, man. They had all the items, they had all the advantages. They completely outplayed everything Onic was throwing at them in that fight, and now they have taken that Lord. They have 0 casualties as well. They have all the time in the world to set up the waves right here. Onic has definitely lost control. They have to play defensively and somehow, some way, maybe wait for RRQ to get overzealous, because that's usually the pattern. But under new management, that might not be a possibility. RRQ has been playing so solid so far.
Solid so far. They played that last team fight really solid. And man, the MPL Arena, the Kingdom, they're loving it. RRQ with a 3,000 gold lead. The Lord is already marching down there in the top side. It only takes one moment for Vin to look for a play. And if they can do that with the follow-up coming in from the rest of the members, it could be goodbye for Onic here in game number 1.
I don't think it's goodbye just yet now, but Vin wants to say otherwise. The airstrike is going to be popped in on towards that backside. CW with a beautiful Bennett's Rage and in the viewer's passion, doing some AoE damage as Kyrie jumps back and forth with the quad shadow. Boots is going to fall with a 1-for-1. XP for Rogue. Keyboy, no divine judgment. Poked down by Skylar. One more hit. The Lord still going to be cleared down. The Lord almost just taking the kill away. CW just reading out, opening up some bushes with the Renner's shot. But Onic's base has been exposed. Up top, the base turret has been taken down.
You were asking, Eterna, why do people keep picking the Yves? That is why. There was no big feather airstrike, but the longer Onic was taking to take care of that Lord, the more damage Clay was outputting, just spamming out the spells again and again with the Enchanted Talisman, lower cooldown, more mana regeneration. It's just endless source of damage, so Skylar can just wait it out, wait for the right opportunity, and once he goes in, that's a lot of damage. Keyboy almost getting taken out by the Lord. That was a clencher for sure. But now it's back to the default. Both teams waiting to find the opportunity, but with a base tower taken, fortunately for Onic, it's still on the side of the Lord. So it's not that bad, but they are losing out in the proactive engage department.
For sure, and even the real-time win probability is siding. No way! What?
Another beautiful read by Vin, but Kyrie threatens the back line, zoning them away, isolating Vin. Meanwhile, Lemon jumping in once again, trying to zone the Onic members. A good disengage by Boots, but Skylar does a lot of damage with the final slash. He's almost caught, but as always, Skylar always has the BMI set in a position defensively.
All right, but that was adaptation from Onic, right? They are signaling that they understand the gameplay that Vin is trying to protrude onto them, and so they're using baits, and it worked out for them there, being able to get the combo off. Not really great in terms of the timing, because the Lord still spawns in around 7 seconds, so honestly, RRQ, they do still have time to go back for it, but Vin, what?
Whoa, he's going in.
Uh-oh, a bit aggressive here. Bennett's Rage, though, has been popped in. That's a massive resource. It is going to be back up in a bit, though. No worries for the Beatrix. Cooldown in the 21st minute is going to be quite short. RQ, though, have more map pressure to play with, Rashi.
Have more map pressure, and keep in mind, Vin is on that Tenacity emblem, and it has been doing wonders for the man going in 1v5, trying to take damage. But look at that play from Keyboy. He went for the conceal. It does not work out. So RRQ, they are really good in this kind of situation. When they're just dancing around, Lemon gets jumped on.
Split, though. Oh, that's the feather airstrike baited out again. Two massive ultimates, the Bennett's Rage and the Feathered Airstrike is going to be up in a bit, but look at the poke damage coming in from Skylar onto Boots. That's the immortality. Lost. Boots will fall. CW dealing some damage, but it won't be enough to take anyone down. RRQ have taken control of the Lord Pit. Onic looking for an opening. Kyrie looking for a 50-50 as Lemon tries to zone. The other members away, flickering on the sounds. Kyrie still not spotted. Pops in the quad shadow. Vin now looking for the Tyrant's Revenge. It's still going to be Sog with the Feather Airstrike now as he pops in with the 20 dodge away from the knockout strike. But it's going to be Clay who shuts him down. Onic are losing this Lord fight, and Vin wants to look for more with the Tyrant's Revenge and the Ray. Keyboy locked down. Kyrie finds the kill on the Skylar on the bottom side of the map as Keyboy flickers out to safety. Lemon will drop. And RRQ will pick up the Evolved Lord.
Honestly, that was so brilliant by RRQ, no? That was so brilliant, right? They knew that Kyrie would go in for a steal, but wait a minute, Kyrie? Okay, I thought he was gonna go for it, but yeah, they knew that Kyrie was gonna look for a steal. They sent Skylar in the mid lane to be able to get a little bit more damage, and if possible, get a split push in that mid side to go in for the base, and they knew Kyrie, his his response would definitely be to take care of Skylar, but that also gave RRQ the ability to get this Lord uncontested.
Unfortunately for RRQ, though, they lost their gold laner, won't be in the picture for about 13 more seconds. So Onic has a window of opportunity to try and clear this Lord out. But with the empowered minions, they're going to go for it as Boost just jumps onto Albert.
With a flicker as well now. That's going to be the concealed play. Vin going to be caught now right now as that's the damage enough to burst him down. Only the immortality popping in. Kyrie going to be able to isolate the two members down as Vin gets taken out. Lemon mounting boots, but it's still going to be CW who dishes out the damage. The real world manipulation has been popped in. A massive resource. A 1 for 0 for Onic.
50 seconds without their main engage tool. The main playmaker that has been doing wonders for them on the map. Onic has a huge window here where Keyboy finally has some freedom to make plays without getting jumped on. He has a fleeting time, so you can expect him to be so liberal with the Divine Judgment. For now, though, Sans also has built up a Winter Truncheon, so having some more countermeasures towards the burst damage, the flank coming in from RRQ. The empowered waves haven't cleared out, and this is that late game where execution is everything. If RRQ get the advantage in the fight, they can win right here, but if Onic can somehow evade the initial big portion of the damage, they can very easily turn this around. It's anyone's game right now. This is the late game without a gold lead being relevant.
With 3 Immortals for the side of RRQ, in a prolonged fight, they do have more of a lead, not a lead, an advantage when it comes down to those prolonged team fights. They have some time to be able to work around the aggression coming in from Onic. Right now, 24 minutes in, still 45 seconds left on the clock for the next Lord to spawn. It feels like Onic right now, they're trying to go in for the better setup. The side lanes are important, and honestly, knowing that Hayabusa is on the side of Onic, knowing that Kyrie is on the Hayabusa, other than the fact that he can go in for the pickoffs and deal the damage, he also should have an advantage when it comes down to the split push in terms of controlling those side lanes.
But RQ are the ones more proactive. They've already pushed up the wave right now. So in 15 seconds when the Lord is up, the wave will be sort of pushing towards Onic. And they seem to realize that they're already moving to correct and readjust that lane management play. But keep in mind right here, Keyboy, very far away from the rest of his team, does not get engaged on, fortunately, but he goes for it right now.
The snipe coming in. Now Vin going to be bursted down right there with the snipe. That's the place that you went on the back line, but CW has it with nature. He buys the immortality in time. He has a flicker. He gets out. CW will be gunned down, though. That's the 11 who takes the kill. Keyboy will fall as well. The main damage dealer has been taken out as Albert jumps into the back line with the knockout spike. Sans 1 HP. Gets out with a Winter Truncheon. Buys the immortality. Carrying the back line now with the shadow kill. Will be able to escape. 2 members left standing for Onic. RRQ with a 3 for 1.
They're pushing the mid lane. They're pushing the bottom lane. Kyrie and Sans, the only 2 members left. Will they be able to defend against 4 of RRQ?
30 seconds on the clock for Keyboy to respawn. Kyrie has bought the immortality. All 3 base turrets will fall. They're looking for the mini waves to crash in as Kyrie jumps in to clear out the waves. Once again, it's still going to be managed properly, but the base is wide open. They don't even care about the minions. They will take game number 1. Bangduk and RRQ with a strong start.
Bangduk has done it, man. He broke the lose streak and dealt Onic a first loss in a long time. Of course, it's only the first step in the right direction. Onic is a team that is